All right, good evening. How you doing? Yeah. All right. Got a great show tonight. And the beautiful thing is, let me do this here. Let's see. Secret guest number one right here. It's going to be fun. George is here. George Noory. Be here at the bottom of the hour. And then we're going to have Victoria here from Contact in the Desert and some surprise guest that will be, oh no, computer resetting right now, right at the start of the show. Can you believe it? At least I don't need that one right away. Oh, man. Okay. All right. It literally went blue screen on me. Okay. So here we go. It's going to be a really fun show. Everybody have a good time tonight. And Contact in the Desert is, we are leaving tomorrow. A week from tomorrow. We're leaving a week from tomorrow. And somebody had tweeted yesterday, dude, it's in 10 days. Well, for some of you, for us, we leave tomorrow, a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow. I don't need to say that on the air. And it's here. Contact in the Desert is here. And then also, I'll be over at Coast to Coast AM this weekend, too, as well. Okay, gearing up for Contact in the Desert. I go live here in a few seconds. Enjoy the show tonight, everybody. It's going to be one of those. All right? I'll see you. Here we go.
Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black, Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah, how you doing? Today's Wednesday, May 23rd, 2018. 142 days into the new year, just 223 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Good evening. What an amazing week, an amazing month, an amazing year that we've had here on Fade to Black. And just an unbelievably cool week this week. But tonight, very special guest George Noory is here from Coast to Coast AM. Always love it when George joins us on the show. And you know what's really cool for me is he's hosting Coast to Coast later on tonight. And that's the energy that George Noory has. He's going to come in and hang out with all of you tonight. And then later on, Victoria Gavarian is going to be here. And then we're going to have a few special surprise guests join the show tonight. Wink, wink. So enjoy all of that. It's going to be a fun night tonight. Tomorrow night is another Fader night, open lines. We've got John Rappaport here and his No More Fake Newsroom live like we do each Thursday, followed by open lines all night long. And there you go. So that'll cap off our week this week. And then this weekend, I am over standing in for George Noory over at Coast to Coast AM on Friday night. My guest will be Daniel Sheehan, and followed by open lines. And that's one of my think about the honor and the privilege that I have on Thursdays and Fridays, where I get to go open lines with all of you here, and then roll down the street into the Coast to Coast AM studios and do open lines over there. So 2 nights in a row for me doing open lines, and it's just a privilege. It's a privilege, and I'm honored, and it's great. So there's that. Then I'm over at Coast to Coast on Saturday too as well, and my guest on Saturday will be announced tomorrow on the Coast to Coast AM website. All right, now you can follow me and friend me over at onstellar.com, onstellar.com, onstellar.com. George Noory's there. Go hang out. David Wilcox over there. Corey Good's over there. Richard Nolan's over there. David Icke is over there. Come and hang out with all of us on onstellar.com. You can follow me also on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Very simple, at JChurchRadio. I'm still over on Facebook. I'm not friending anybody anymore, though. Yeah, but, there's announcements over there and stuff as we start to wind that down. And, of course, YouTube. You can go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just find the one that says Fade to Black Official with the check mark on it. That's the one that you want. That's where we are over on YouTube. Everything is... it's Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, Game Changer Network. You can go and do everything that you need over on our website, jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow, like, subscribe. Everything is over there. Okay, now if you want to hang out on the sandbox tonight with us, hashtag F2B, and we burn through 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 tweets per night. Well, the audience does. I certainly can't do that, but I get a couple of good tweets in. I'll jab, I'll poke, and come and hang out with us, hashtag F2B on Twitter. If you have any questions or comments during the show tonight or any other night, hashtag F2BQ. Okay? It's very, very simple. OnStellar.com. Today, George tweeted out on Stellar. And it's just a coincidence that he's on the show tonight. The two are not connected. But, so come and hang out and go and friend George and see what he's doing, see what he's up to. Go over to onstellar.com, onstellar.com. It is truly the next great social media platform that was built for this community. It's extraordinary. And right now, there are thousands and thousands of people just like you hanging out over there, sharing knowledge and hanging out and talking and posting articles. It is just an amazing place to go and hang out. No advertising. There's no data mining. There's no funny business. It's just a social media platform built for you. It's Internet 3.0. It is the next wave. It's Internet 3.0. It is what the Internet should be. And we're headed straight there. This technology, this amazing technology, is built for you. How cool is that? OnStellar.com. All right, 1 week from tomorrow, we depart for Palm Springs. We're heading out for Contact in the Desert, June 1st through the 4th, 2018. And George Noory is going to be there. The List, Eric Von Daniken and David Wilcock, Linda Moulton Howe, Richard Dolan, Freddie Silva is going to be there this year. Jason Quitt is there. Justin Deschamps. It is an extraordinary list of speakers. And now you can come out and join us. We will be doing a few things out there. Of course, we're going to broadcast Friday night on June 1st. And then Saturday, you can come and hang out with all of us at the George Noory Luncheon. And the information for that is over at contactinthedesert.com. We've got the award ceremony Saturday. I'm going to host the magic show Saturday night, too, as well. Sunday, I will host the closing ceremonies and the last panel on Sunday night in the amphitheater. And I've set this up so I've got Corey Good and Richard Dolan and Jason Quitt and Brad Olson, and then I've got 3 surprise guests that will be announced there. And I wanted to do it that way because it's Sunday night. And I remember last year, and the year before, but last year especially, where, hosting the last panel on Sunday night, it's kind of, you get to the end, and it's such a great weekend, and everybody's kind of bummed out. It's just like, oh, this is it. Well, so we're going to make this a pretty special event on Sunday night. And I look forward to seeing all of you there. We're going to have a great booth, and On Stellar's going to be there. Modern Masters, Teresa Yanaris and Justin Deschamps. They're going to have a booth right next to ours with Dana Harvey and John Lunn. So we're going to have 3 booths right in a row, set up beautifully, and so you won't miss that. So come on and hang out with all of us, okay? All right, and then a couple of things. We have some other events that are going down this summer. We have, of course, the Soul Tech Gathering up at ECETI Ranch, and that's August 9th through the 12th. And you can go to soultechgathering.com. We are teaching at this event. Now, it's at ECETI, and this is a place where we have set up classrooms, and we are going to do nothing but teach. So come and hang out with us. Now, of course, we have the Field of Dreams. We're going to be sky watching every single night. We've got music and entertainment, and of course, great food and camping and all of those things that you do up there. And who knows, maybe we'll have a Bigfoot sighting. So that is all going down up at our Soul Tech Gathering at ECETI Ranch. Go to soultechgathering.com. But we've got a couple of other events that are going down this summer of Disclosure Fest. We will have information for that. That is going down here. It's free in downtown Los Angeles at the historic Los Angeles Park in downtown. And that is a 35-acre park. We did that last year. It is an extraordinary event. It's ginormous. It's big. Many stages, and it's an outdoor festival. It's really, really cool. So we're going to do that. And also, I'm going to fly out to Boulder, Colorado for the Dimensions of Disclosure, too, as well. So I'll be doing that event. And there's a couple of other ones that we're going to announce a little bit later on in the fall. Okay? So just when I thought I was going to slow down on conferences, Rita and I made up our mind we were going to do 2 this year. Well, it looks like we're going to do about 15. But come and hang out with all of us, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 850 archive shows, and that's just $2 a month. I would do it for free. It's just the podcast company that we work with won't. Otherwise, I'd just do it for free. But $2 a month is as low as we could go. $2 a month, 850 archive shows. Apple, Android, everything is right there. Go click on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com. Every little bit helps, I guess, and there you go. So you can also become a Fade or Not in our membership section of the site, where you get the bunker cam and you get commercial-free downloadable archives, and You can get T-shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff. So you can just go over to the membership section on the site. And all of our sponsors are amazing here. Life Change Tea, River Moon Coffee. They make the Fade to Black blend. Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana Food Storage, Bearing Optics. Go visit all of our sponsors. And that's how, this is America. That's how we run this show. With commercials. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Joan Collins, 85. Yeah. I you know what? You get to be 85. I'll say happy birthday to you on the show. And I did that today for Joan Collins. Our dead guy's birthday. Oh, I didn't have a dead guy's birthday today. Yeah. On this day in history, OTD, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow are shot to death by Texas and Louisiana State Police while driving a stolen car in Louisiana. Fader fact. Okay, here we go. I love Fader facts. It makes you smarter. Think about that. China is the world's largest supplier of... Think about that for a second. Okay, I'll say it again as I take a sip of that coffee. Dramatic pause. China is the world's largest supplier of, wait for it, Bibles. And that is a Fader fact. Tonight, very special guest, George Noory is here. We've got Victoria Gavarian from Contact in the Desert. She's going to be here a little bit later. We've got a few surprise guests that are going to be coming in and joining the show tonight. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live, followed by open lines all night long. Come and hang out with us tomorrow night. And I wanted to talk to you briefly, before I get George in here, about Project Blue Book. When I was a kid, now this take on Blue Book is not what you think, but when I was a kid, Blue Book, and especially in the UFO community, it was the big deal. It was the big kahuna. And you could go to the library and pull down an encyclopedia, and Blue Book would be in there. You could, big picture of J. Allen Hynek. And it was all there. And UFO, if you looked up UFO, or if you got a UFO book, or if you looked up UFO in the encyclopedia, there would be Project Blue Book. And its Air Force connection was one of the things that the UFO community had, this direct connection with the Pentagon and the Air Force and UFOs and Project Blue Book. It was a really big deal. Today, it's kind of gotten lost in the midst of UFO lore. And it's almost been turned into legend. And that's a scary thing. But Blue Book, this is what, for me, is the most fascinating thing, where we can't really lose sight of what Blue Book actually was. Because even though today we may look at it as disinfo, we may look at it as things that were dismissed and things like that. Swamp gas, right? Okay, all right. And I get that. I do. I really do. But there were 701 cases that were unsolved. Now, if we stop and think about this, it's not the 701 cases. No. It's who got those 701 cases. Think about that for a second. Those were handed off to somebody else above Blue Book. And that is interesting. Today, where we are talking about Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy and and ATIP, whatever ATIP may mean, aerospace, aviation, well, it's aviation, but whatever you believe that it may stand for, is an example of a possible organization or program that those 701 cases went to. Now, of course, we know that ATIP didn't happen for another 30 years, 40 years, 50, right? So, not the same, but my point being that those 701 cases didn't just sit there. They didn't go away. Who investigated them? Where are those reports? Where did they go? And today, for some reason, because of the thing that developed around Blue Book as the years went by, and we kind of dismissed it more and more and more, and just kind of pushed it off to the side, it's those 701 cases that went somewhere. And I find that interesting because whatever you think about MJ-12 and those documents and what MJ-12, Majestic 12, Magic 12, whatever you want to call it, there was and always has been a group that was put together to look at UFOs since 1947. Whatever the name of the group was, it doesn't matter. Was there an actual program that was above Blue Book? Was Blue Book just a clearinghouse to pacify the masses and calm down the hysteria, which I think it was, calm it down, calm everybody down, and give the answers that the public needed? And then there's those 701 cases. So where did those go? So when we talk today, and that's why it's most important that today we go back and think about Blue Book and those 701 cases and where they went inside of the Pentagon. Now, ATIP is sitting off to the side right now today. We don't know $22 million. Pentagon says it was shut down. They didn't want to spend the money anymore. Okay, but that doesn't mean that there are not multiple programs inside of the Pentagon that nobody knows, compartmentalized, the ability, certainly through Freedom of Information Act, and the ability to go and access this and reports and report numbers. It's nearly impossible. But those 701 cases went somewhere. And since then, those 701 cases are what we know of from 1969 and before. What has happened after that, we don't know. And so we look at today with ATIP and the admission from the Pentagon that there are secret programs that are going on and that are funded, that are black budget, that we don't know anything about, that are out there doing stuff. Some of these programs are pretty obvious, where you are looking at aircraft from other countries. What are they doing? The next generation stealth fighters that are being developed out there. There are certainly government programs like that in the Foreign Technology Department, right? Foreign Aerospace Technology Department, with these acronyms. So there's certainly those. Rockets. We have programs right now that are looking at all of that. Satellites. We have programs that are looking at that stuff too as well, that you don't know anything about. We know that there are trillions of dollars missing in the Pentagon. The Pentagon has never had an audit. We also know that. So there are programs there investigating all kinds of things. ATIP, because it was revealed and brought forward by the New York Times, whatever the name is, that part doesn't matter, certainly tells us just that, what we have been talking about for a long time, that the Pentagon has programs and they know more than they are telling us. These are the facts, and you have to be comfortable in that. You're not supposed to know everything. But then we go back to the 701. Where did those cases go? The ones that are allegedly solved in Blue Book? Easy. Okay. Done with that. The 701 that you couldn't give us answers for, those are the most interesting cases. Those are the most important ones. And those are the ones that would freak out the Pentagon. So those cases stayed active. Isn't that interesting? So think about that for a second before we go and dismiss Blue Book and dismiss Majestic 12, Magic 12, MJ 12, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. The point is the phenomenon is real. The Pentagon is real. Secret black budget programs are real. Blue Book was real. 701 unsolved cases. And now we know more today than we knew then. I keep standing on this soapbox, and I'm not going to give up on this one thought that needs to go throughout all of our community, all of it. And it's a simple one. Okay? Today we know more than we ever have before. It's a fact. If you I want you to do me a favor right now. Reach into your pocket. Reach into your purse. Take out a dime. Okay? Take out, I got a guitar pick. That's what I got. I got a guitar pick. Take out a dime and go outside tonight with the dime. And I want you to look up into the stars. And the stars are covering the sky. And I want you to find a spot in the stars where there are no stars. And hold up the dime at arm's length. Just like this. For everybody on the cameras, you can see me right now. Hold that up. And wherever you can find a black spot where there's no stars, hold the dime up and look. Right there, that circle, that dime with the telescope, the blank spot is 150,000 galaxies. And the universe is round. It's not flat. Milky Way is flat. Universe is round. And you can do that from any point on the earth. Any direction, you hold up that dime and you're looking at 150,000 galaxies with 1 trillion stars in each one. Wrap your head around that. 150,000 galaxies, 1 trillion stars in each. Do you think we're alone today? This knowledge we didn't have in 1969. We didn't have it in 1979. And it is Hubble and the new Webb telescope that's going up. These pieces of gear are giving us knowledge today that we've never had before. So when it goes to secret programs inside of the Pentagon, when it's going back and looking at Project Blue Book and those 701 unsolved cases and the amount of cases that they are reviewing since then, all the way through today, I will stand on this soapbox and I will repeat over and over again. Today, we know so much more than we ever have in the past. We know so much more about space, about exoplanets, about the speed of light, about gravity that we've never known before. Just last week, it was announced that octopi, got here from space. Those eggs were transported from space and just appeared here 250 million years ago. Think about that. And this announcement was from 33 scientists and researchers and published in a professional journal. We live in incredible times today. So I want to go back. I want answers on those 701 cases. I would like to know what happened to those. Somebody knows something. And there's a program right now in the Pentagon with the file cabinet with those cases in it and the results. Think about that. And that's why I do this show every night. I study, I go and I look at the universe. I compile these numbers. I look because I think, I ponder, I wonder. I know that we're not alone. I know that we're being visited. I know that there's questions out there that need to be answered. And that's what I love about this audience. You go and you listen to something like this right now that you hadn't really thought about before, and how to connect these dots and how to put them all together. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, George Noory is here, and we're going to have a very spirited conversation tonight. I'm really looking forward to this, and this is the first time that George has been on with us since the passing of Art Bell, and of course, we will talk about art tonight as well. And a little bit later on, Victoria's going to be here from Contact in the Desert. We're going to have a few other special guests that will be joining us tonight. And then tomorrow night is Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. You can email me right now, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. You can certainly follow me on Twitter at jchurchradio. It's all really simple. You've got OnStellar. You still got Facebook. You've got YouTube. And this is Fade to Black. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at getthetea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at getthetea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show. On the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Very simple. Come and hang out with us. Twitter is always up and active. Right in front of me, the chat rooms are there. I'm hanging out with all of you during the show. It's great. Tonight, George Noory is here. A little bit later, Victoria Gavarian is going to be here. And we are going to have a few special surprise guests rolling through tonight. So it's going to be fun. Hang out with us. Tomorrow night is Fader Night. Open lines all night long. John Rappaport's going to be here with us. No More Fake Newsroom Live. And then Friday night, I'm over at Coast to Coast standing in for George Noory. And I'll be doing open lines over there, too, as well. And I'll be over at Coast on Saturday, too, as well. But tonight, George is with us. He is the host of Coast to Coast AM, of course, which airs on approximately 564 stations throughout the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Guam. And while hosting his show Nighthawk, late-night program on KTRS in St. Louis, George was recruited by Premier Radio Networks to guest host on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. He became the permanent host on, get ready, January 1st, 2003. It is now 2018. At the age of 28, he became the youngest major market news director in the country at KMSP-TV in Minneapolis, while a news executive was a recipient there of 3 Emmy Awards. Of course, he hosts Beyond Belief over at Gaia, and he's been on Ancient Aliens. He was born, raised, and educated in Detroit and graduated from the University of Detroit in 1972 with a bachelor's degree in communications. Tonight, I want to sit down with George and discuss a little bit of everything. But, of course, before I welcome George, this is the first time that George has been on with us since the passing of Art Bell, and we'll chat a little bit about that, too, as well. I'd like to welcome back to Fade to Black. I almost said Coast to Coast, George.
Welcome back. You know what? It's ingrained in us to do that. You know, when I first started doing Coast to Coast back officially in 2003, my first show was 2001. I filled in for Ian Punnett, ironically.
Right.
It was so difficult because just when I was ready to say Coast to Coast, my mind wanted to say, you're listening to the Nighthawk show on KTRS, because that's what I said in St. Louis for so many years. You know, we get ingrained to say things like that. So I understand where you're coming. One little tweak on the incredible bio that you did.
Yes.
We're now up to 620 radio stations in North America. Well, 620, Jimmy.
How many around the universe, though? That's the thing. You know, those signals are getting out there.
Who counts?
You know,
who counts?
George, I do want to talk about Art for a bit here. He, as you know, I used to live across the street from the Coast Studios, you know, and I would listen to Art every night, and he influenced so many, and his passing that night on the 13th, which was, Friday the 13th, caught us all by surprise. And I know that you were quite emotional about it on Coast to Coast, but now you've had a little bit of time, to reflect. How did he influence you?
Well, let's be very frank, Jimmy. Without Art Bell's creation and cleverness of developing Coast to Coast, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I'd still be doing a local talk show in St. Louis. He was an excellent broadcaster. He understood how to build an audience. He understood how to make an audience sit on the edge of their seat or lay in their bed with their sheets up to their neck. And he just was a master at that, and he did a great job doing that. And he built that station along with Alan Corbett. And let's make sure everybody knows Alan Corbett was right there with Art all the way. As a matter of fact, he was the one who heard Art, who was on KDON at the time in Las Vegas, and said, this guy ought to be syndicated. And he's the one who ran with that end of the business and made it happen. But Art had an influence on all of us who are into the paranormal and the unusual and the mysteries. He had a difficult personal life, as many people know, but in terms of his profession, doing what he did was absolutely astounding.
The one thing, as I've thought about this quite a bit, the one thing that I went through as a fan, as so many listeners did, was him departing so many times over the years. and my anger. And my anger was because I love the guy so much, right? and to lose him, and sometimes quite unexpectedly, that frustration really got to me. But then I would, just like everybody else, once he came back on the air, all was forgiven. And that's because he was such an excellent broadcaster.
I don't know of anybody who could have come on left, come on left, come on left as many times as Art Bell has and did, and would be accepted again by a network or by radio stations or by the public. He was very unusual when it came to that. He had a very difficult time personally, Jimmy, with a lot of things that have happened in his life, and things that, and I know you personally. You've had some ups and downs, but you're steady. You come into work, you go on the air. I do the same thing. Art was a different animal. When something bothered Art, whether it was the tragedy of a cat dying or anything else, he bolted, and he did that quite often to the dismay of a lot of his fans, especially toward the latter part of his career, when he would develop some programs and some shows and then abruptly leave for whatever reason. He would do that, and that got a lot of people upset. I know it got our network upset after several times. The first couple times, they understood some of the stories that were going on, but it kept happening back and forth, and it was very frustrating for a lot of people who were Art Bell fans and supporters. But you're right. They tend to forgive him whenever he finally came back. It's when he decided to leave again, they really got upset.
Yeah, I was one of those, and so I shared everybody's frustration because I was right there. But there's the other part about Art, which I want to talk to you about yourself, which is his way of investigating all things unexplained was pretty extraordinary, and he was able to engage in a conversation. But his fascination was there, whether it was entertainment or he was truly interested in it. But you have been doing it now for 15 years, and congratulations on that. Going on 16. As a matter
of fact, they tell me I've now done the show longer than Art did, which is remarkable.
Oh, man. And so has your interest continued? I mean, I am so impressed by our community, how it has grown through all of this, and the people that are seekers of truth and knowledge and our lost history and all things that are unanswered is huge. Isn't it impressive? I mean, do you ever get tired of it?
Never. If anything, Jimmy, what we've done and what I've done personally is I've augmented my desire and love of the unusual and the paranormal with even other types of mysteries and shows like the deep state and conspiracies. We've added a lot of those elements to Coast that really weren't there before. And, the program was primarily ghosts and UFOs and things like that. As a matter of fact, when I first started doing Coast to Coast, and people would say, "Oh, you're the UFO guy," and I kept on to say, "No, I'm not the UFO guy. I'm the mystery and unusual talk show host. That's what I want to be known as." And but for years, everybody thought the show was strictly ghosts and UFOs, and it's not anymore. It's a combination of many things, including that. But mysteries, conspiracies, governmental screw-ups, all kinds of things that affect people with, and here's the caveat, a coast-to-coast twist. We don't do what you see mainstream doing during the day. We don't do those kinds of radio shows. We don't do those kinds of programs on Beyond Belief, the television show. We do the unusual and the mystery wherever it takes us.
The other part of it is you can even divide and conquer your own audience when you're talking about UFOs, because now you've got those that believe in one side of the UFOs or the others, or ghost or religion or Egypt. It doesn't really matter. Do you do that dance? Are you worried about saying the wrong thing or asking the wrong question where you'll divide the audience?
Absolutely not, because what I try to do, and as people who listen to me quite often know, I don't take sides. I want to be a facilitator. I may have a guest on Monday who believes that the pyramids were built by the Egyptians. I may have a guest on Tuesday who's convinced they were built by extraterrestrials. My role is not to put them down, not to attack them, not to destroy them, but to get them to talk about their views and why they believe what they believe. And then I let our audience decide for themselves, what do you believe? I'm not there to force it down their throats. And I think that's what's made the program so special, because when people listen to Coast, they don't hear confrontation. You know, as a talk show host, how easy it is for us to take sides, take opinion, get mad at people, hang up the phone on a guest, or do whatever you have to do. The only thing that I am always on the alert for is somebody who might be a shyster who's out to take advantage of somebody. I did that once with a fellow who was on talking about Bigfoot. He claimed that he had Bigfoot captured in his backyard and put up a camera and wanted to charge people a small fortune to watch it on his video screen. And I booted the guy, and never again. I mean, those are the things we watch for. But by and large, I'm not taking sides. I want to be a facilitator. I want to get the greatest answers out of a guest, whatever he's talking about or she's talking about.
I wanted to, for the audience, I'm going to say this. I know that George, whether he is in L.A. or St. Louis, but let's say St. Louis, for example, where now he's in a different time zone and he's getting off the air. When you're in St. Louis, what time does the show end?
When I'm in St. Louis, we start at midnight Central Time, which is 10 o'clock Pacific Time, of course, and I get off the air at 4 a.m. I broadcast in a cave structure, Jimmy, and I'll get to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up by 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll do a lot of computer work at pre-prep. I'll pick my bumper songs. I'll pick the news guests that we have in the first hour. And then we just keep moving on and on and on. It doesn't stop, and I love it. And what makes it even better for me is I've got people now, co-hosts like you, who I can tap into whenever I take a day off once in a while. Like you just said, you're going to be on tomorrow night. I'm taking a needed day off after working 6 or 7 days in a row. And when I say that includes travel time to other cities. Beyond belief, the TV shows, live stage shows, an event. You got to do that once in a while, and it's just great to know that I've got folks like you that are able to plug yourself in and not miss a beat when you do Coast to Coast.
Well, because I think the audience needs to know more about that side of you. They just think that you've got boundless energy and they can count on you being there every night, but I don't think they understand that there is, only so many hours in a day, and George will testify that I'll call George in the morning and mess with him. Are you up? And you respond to me every single time. Of course I am. And
even though you try to do it at 6 in the morning.
I try to, but you're always up, so I gave up on that.
I know part. I don't sleep that much. I sleep in little stages, or I don't sleep in long blocks of time. To me, Jimmy, sleep is a waste of time. And I got to be very honest with you. I take a slew of vitamins from criticalhealthnews.com, longevity.
Right.
And I've been doing this for years. I've become a health fanatic. There was a time back in 2000, I had some severe health issues. I don't broadcast it a lot. But, after that, I decided I'm going to take care of myself. I've never been overweight. I've always been in shape. But I decided I'm going to do everything I can supplementally and take care of myself. It's just too important to myself, my family, and this audience to check out early, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, and so when you are talking about the show prep, because I'm very interested in, I know what I do, which is I work all day long, right? Well, per your advice, by the way. But that's what I do. How when you're here in Los Angeles, where you've actually physically got to go to your office, right? How many hours? Coast to coast is 4 hours. How many hours before the show do you start in the office?
No, it's constantly. First of all, I get to the office at about 2:00 in the afternoon. I leave at 2:15 in the morning.
Right.
That's at the office. But before that, I'm doing bumper music, show guests for the hour that I work with Tom. I'm in constant communication with Tom Danheiser, our senior producer, who also heads up our live events division and is the executive producer for Beyond Belief, the TV show. I'm in touch with our show executive producer, Lisa Lyon, and those are constant hours before I get into the office and studio.
And the show itself, after all of that prep, how long after 15 years is the show to you? Is it 4 hours or is it like 20 minutes?
It's about 28 minutes.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because you love it. No, I'm being serious. When I get to 2 a.m.
It goes by very, very fast. We, of course, have commercials in between because the show is offered for free to terrestrial radio stations. And, of course, the network needs to make a living. It's an enterprise. It's a business. And, it has always been a business, even during arts days. The commercial load is generally the same as it's always been. And, that's been a staple of the program.
Now, is there a zone, George, that you don't go into? The conspiracy supernatural umbrella has everything underneath it. But is there a show topic or a zone that you avoid?
There are some show issues that I prefer to stay away from because I don't think of them as coast-to-coast topics. They're interesting and important, but I don't like to talk on abortion issues. We really don't get into gun control, even though we're Second Amendment supporters. I don't see that as a coast-to-coast topic. So we look at things like that on a regular basis. The death penalty, we shy away from that. So generally, we'll try in politics, though we will have political guests on to talk about Korea and Russia and the United States. I try to stay away from specifics. I don't want to do a full show on Donald Trump and Russia and, was there manipulation? I'd let the daytime people do that.
And then we have religion. And when you get those religious calls, and I do, when I'm over there hosting a coast, I get them sometimes here at Fade to Black. But I always feel like I need to back off. And what do you do about that?
Well, we do deal with religious topics, and we will talk about that, biblically speaking. We will not knock religions. People can honor whatever faith that they want to practice. But what I don't want, and this was something Art talked about a long time ago, he didn't like people reading scripture and things like that, and I try to shy away from that too.
Right.
Sometimes you'll get a caller who leaks it in real fast, and then you got to be polite. How are you going to get this guy off when he's right in the middle of something from Genesis? But generally, I try to shy away from stuff like that.
And how do you give me some advice? How do you end that call? Because we've all had it, right? Somebody's, it's gonna, and you feel the call going in that direction, right? You feel it, and the next thing you know,
and it's going nowhere, and your audience is rolling its eyes, and they're going, "Get him off." What I do is I'll start talking over him a little bit or her, put them on hold while I'm still talking, so it seems like a seamless transition, and then fade to the next caller. So I politely get rid of them without slamming the phone off or yelling at them or saying anything like that, which I don't want to do.
Yeah, the first time over at Coast when I was in a position where, and I had to cut the caller off, and I thought that I did it in a polite way, but I got tons of negative feedback from it. And I thought I did it in a very polite way. But the audience is so large, no matter what, it's so large that a small percentage is still a large number that you could potentially offend. Are you aware?
Absolutely.
Are you conscious of that all the time?
Yeah, constantly. I don't want to hurt people. Jimmy, put yourself in somebody's shoes. They make a call to a radio station, they're on the air, they're talking, and the host hangs up on them right in the middle of midstream or something like that. So we need to be a little more diplomatic about that. I don't want the person to have bad feelings. I don't want them upset after they're done making their call. They're listeners to the program. I mean, they're people who buy our advertisers' products. They're important. So I try to make sure that they're not totally upset if they get cut off quickly.
And we're going to be heading into a commercial break, and I kind of want to set up for when we come back. This has been a pretty extraordinary year for ufology and UFOs on all fronts. It doesn't matter if we're talking about exoplanets or, Tom DeLonge or disclosure or the mass media sightings, FAA releasing their tapes of a couple of different sightings that happened over the last couple of months. Pretty big things are going on. Have you ever seen it like this before? And what do you think is going to ultimately happen with this?
I still don't think we're going to get government disclosure, but if we continue going down the path we're going, hopefully whistleblowers will get more and more information out. I think it's dramatic that the government basically, through a whistleblower, released information that they have spent money on studying the UFO episodes and issues. I think that's dramatic, and I think that's going to continue, probably get even better.
One of the thoughts that I had, maybe we can do this with Coast to Coast and Fade to Black. What if we did a crowdfunding campaign where we peppered buses in Washington, D.C. with Disclosure Now? UFO disclosure, Times Square, billboards, and got the entire country on board with it, and assaulted Washington, D.C. with billboards.
We'll talk about that.
See, reason it's a good idea, isn't it?
It's a good idea. I'm not so sure we should hit up an audience for money, stuff like that.
What I mean is, the crowdfunding part isn't the important part. I'm saying, if the United States responded in a way like that, would that be enough to at least have the question addressed out of Washington, D.C.? I mean, push, just in your face. Would it be enough?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
It's going to take the Edgar Mitchells of life, people like that, those kinds of astronauts and those folks, to come forward and tell the world what the heck has been going on.
And the reason why I bring this up is Armenia, George, just had a velvet revolution over there, right? Nobody hurt, no guns, no bullets. Prime Minister resigned, installed a new prime minister, and Nicole Pashinyan, and did it with voices from the street, to the point where the government there just couldn't ignore the people. And they did it in a very passive, beautiful way. They literally danced their way into a revolution. And would that be something that we could do here for the disclosure side? Something like that, something passive, but that the government would be forced into responding. But I think the UFO topic and disclosure is such a heavy one that it may not even be enough. It may be bigger than anything.
Well, that's true, absolutely. And I'm not sure that an outcry of the public would force the government to release any more information. I think there's so many other humanitarian issues that people would clamor for that it would take precedent, Jimmy.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight is George Noory. When we come back, I'm actually going to talk a little bit of music with George. We had a really cool event that we did back in February. I got to hang out with George and watch him sing all night. I want to talk a little music with George, continue the UFO conversation, and everything else. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back. More with George Noory right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out! That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Tomorrow night, open lines. John Rappaport's going to be here. A little bit later, Victoria Gavarian from Contacting the Desert is going to be here. We're going to have a few surprise guests roll through. But right now, it is George Noory, Coast to Coast AM. And George, the $1 million question for me, I want to hit you with this. With all,
that's a big one.
Yes, this is the big. With all of the mass media coverage that we had since December of UFOs, all of those reports, Robertson, Condon, whatever, all said the same thing. When that happens, we're going to have religious breakdowns, right? Wall Street's going to crumble, anarchy in the streets, rioting, civilization as we know it will be, we'll be in the dark ages. We can't let the UFO secret out. Well, we had some pretty heavy mass media coverage, and we're still here. Nobody jumped off any buildings. Were you surprised by that?
No, not at all, because the old saying, we can handle the truth, Jimmy, I think that's absolutely the case with UFOs. People have become so desensitized over the years about the possibility of visitation, of extraterrestrial life. It doesn't surprise them anymore. And so if government came out and said, they're coming here, they're abducting people, they've been coming, they're doing what they do, I think most people would probably say, we knew it. And they'll go upon their own life. I don't think there'd be panic in the streets or religious breakdowns. People will continue doing what they've always done.
Were you surprised about the lack of response from, say, the Vatican or the White House or any other countries or states around the world? They were pretty mute about it, too. And that took me by surprise.
No, I don't expect them to. I mean, it's almost as if they ignore the subject, hoping it'll go away. No matter who or what says anything about this, they just simply don't react to it. By not reacting to it, does not, in their minds, give credence to it. So they just let it out. It happens, and people go off to the next story the next day. And that's how it's always been.
The Conscious Life Expo back in February. I hit you up. We were having a party that night, that Saturday night.
That's right. I did lend you a 20, didn't I?
You did. And the the promoters there, they came to me and said, "Hey Jimmy, can you talk to George? Do you think George would get up and sing a song?" I said, "Well, I'll talk to him." And you immediately said, "Yes, but church don't blow it." And I said, "Okay, it's all good." But you were right there. And now this is the thing. We started off with 2 songs, and that was the idea, and that's what we worked through. You ended up doing a full set, right? And
I did. Robert Perella had his band there, and they played some songs that I could sing, and we had a great time doing that.
The musical side of you, some people know about it, but music really drives you, doesn't it?
I love it. When I was a little boy, my mother would play all these old-time songs, Elvis songs, Frank Sinatra songs. And as a little kid, 5, 6 years old, you hear this, it comes into your tape recorder head, you end up singing those things. And so at a very young age, I too was singing those songs. And as I got older, we started doing live stage shows all around the country. We've got many coming up, Asheville, North Carolina, Las Vegas on June 9th.
Right.
I said, you know what? I want a band included in this, and I'm going to do some songs, and we're going to make this an entertaining 3 hours instead of just, a program of interviews, and it just took off like a rocket ship. People started just clamoring for it, sold out concert theaters, and so we do that. I mean, I don't sing a lot of songs, but we do enough. I'm going to do the same thing at Contact in the Desert next weekend as people, the promoters, asked me if I would do that.
Now, I wanted to ask you about Sounds of Silence. You had said to me, Church, you're a heavy metal guy now with this bumper music, I was like, okay, all right. So I've always... I know. Hold on now. So I've always pulled back. I'm a heavy metal guy, and if it was, I like my stuff. But anyway, Sounds of Silence is an excellent track, but it's by Disturbed. That's a pretty heavy metal band.
Well, it started off by Simon and Garfunkel, but Disturbed is a heavy metal band. There's nothing that I've heard from them outside of Sounds of Silence that I really enjoy, because I'm not from that era. I'm not into that. This song that they do, the remake of Simon and Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence, is so compelling, so well done, so emotional. I end my Sunday night show, when I do the first Sunday of every month, I end the program into the closing theme with that version, and it is absolutely riveting. I get emails, Jimmy, from people who missed who I said it was, who the artist was.
Right.
And they're just begging me, please let me know who sings that. I need to go get a copy. And it's a very emotional song. They did that great. As a matter of fact, Simon and Garfunkel, the originators of Sounds of Silence, love the Disturbed version. They love it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, tell me how you pick out, everybody wants to know, how do you pick your bumper music each day? Are you in a mood? Are you in a theme? How do you do that? Take me through it.
Depends on the mood. Depends on the mood I'm in at any given time. If I wake up in a different kind of jovial mood, I'll try to pick some bumper songs that are that way. I like to use some of the older bumper songs during the Art Bell era because it's nostalgic and it's coast to coast, so I'll mix those in too. And it just depends on the day, depends on the topic. The topic sometimes drives the kind of songs we pick. And then I put it together, and I will pick out about 60% of the songs, and then I have my board ops pick out the rest.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because I do, when I listen to Coast, when you're on, I'm always listening for the bumper music, and I'm trying to get inside of your head a little bit. You're driven, I think, by some of the great singers of the world. For you, who's at the top? I mean, is it Elvis? Is it Frank?
It's got to be Sinatra, Jimmy.
Right.
I mean, he was a showman in his era. He was a giant. So I would put Sinatra way up there. I would put Elvis up there. I would put the Beatles up there. I would put Paul Anka up there. But Sinatra, to me, might not have had the greatest voice compared to all of them, but he had chemistry when he sang. And when he was on, he was as good, if not better, than anyone ever when he was on.
And I wanted to talk a little jazz with you. I want to pick your jazz mind. When it comes to jazz, because some of your stuff is also jazz, who are your favorite jazz musicians?
It's got to be Louis Armstrong,
right?
The great late Billie Holiday. She was one of the best. As a matter of fact, Frank Sinatra said she may have been the best singer he's ever heard. Those two stand out the most: Louis Armstrong and Billie Holiday.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Great talent.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And I have always wanted to do, because with my bumpers over a Coast, I know that people listen to it because I do, right? If I'm listening for the bumpers, so is everybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've thought about doing a jazz night, and I thought, man, am I just is it pushing it too far? Will people get it? Is there a zone that I don't want to go into? And so how about you? Is it only about you, or are you thinking about the audience?
Well, I always think about the audience first and foremost, and I will put in some younger music because of a younger audience that's listening. I'll put in some older music because of an older audience that's listening. You need to do this first and foremost about your audience. I tell my board ops, look, it's late night radio. Half your audience is lying in bed with the radio on. Don't play the kind of music that is going to wake them up and shutter their radio. I said, you need to just have the mood of what's going on here. And they're learning. I mean, we played some heavy rock songs before, but, after I look at them, they say, oh, he doesn't like that one. And then we don't play it anymore.
Yeah, a couple of times I've heard you sneak in some pretty heavy stuff, and I thought, okay, if George is doing it, then
that's not me. That's not me. It's the board op.
I got to tell you, no, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but a couple of times they snuck some stuff in on me, and I thought, that's too heavy. Is this okay to do? And I didn't do it, but so ever since then I've picked everything out. Now I want to move on before we run out of time. The censors.
My God, the clock is ticking.
I know.
Plus, I have to do a show tonight.
You've got a show. And who's on tonight, by the way? Who do you have on?
Well, tonight, for the first couple hours, we're talking about the killing of Uncle Sam with Paul Williams. And then Dane Wigington's going to join us about crop formations. Chemtrails.
Right, there you go.
Later on in the show.
Censorship. Lately, it seems, not only with Facebook, social media in general, YouTube, and other news organizations out there have been censoring. And I am very sensitive to that. What do you think? Are we within our rights to cry about censorship if it is a privately held company, if it's not the government?
Here's the problem. We don't want the government involved in censorship. Here's an example. The NFL is cracking down on people kneeling and protesting, right?
Right.
The football players. I think it's disgusting that they would kneel and slap this country in the face. If I were an owner of a football team, I would trade those people or get rid of them. That, however, being said, these players have the right to do what they want to do. That's what America's all about. And I would fight to protect that right for them, even though I'm totally opposed to it.
Right.
I think they have that right to do that. Now, with what is happening on the Internet, there's a fine line between falsification, hate, inflaming people, and so you need a balance there. And for example, if you have some of these hateful websites that will put on some of this disgusting stuff about people, I'd shut them down if I were the government, because that doesn't have any place. That's not free speech. That's evil. That's moronic. Threatening people, vulgar things. You don't need that on an internet or a radio station or anything else. But there's a fine line there, and the fine line is who balances and who makes those decisions. And that's the problem, Jimmy, because we don't know who will make the right decision and about the right topic. And because of that, I guess you got to let it all go and let it all leak through and just let people decide what they want to do.
And then we have this trolling. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is it was trolling already in our DNA, right? That social media brought it out of us. That
it made it easy for that to come out and do things, and in many cases hide behind avatars that people don't know who you are. And the only way they'll find out is if you end up hiring a lawyer and you sue somebody and track down their IP address and you go through all that. But who wants to spend that kind of money for that? It's got to be really horrendous. Maybe if the guy's threatening you or something, that's different. But social networking has dramatically changed the face of this planet, and it's not going to go away. You're going to get more and more of that.
Well,
you've got Amazon now working on facial recognition,
right?
All this stuff. It's incredible.
The atmosphere, George, of Facebook 10 years ago and social media, the trolling or any hate of any kind was rare, if not non-existent. And it slowly evolved. And I wonder, your neighbor next door or a friend of yours, they wouldn't come into your house and sit down at dinner and start yelling this crazy stuff. But they'll do it on social media.
Hide behind it.
Right. It's fascinating. Like I said, do you think it's just in our DNA to allow this to come out? That the mob mentality?
It's just hateful people who have nothing better to do. Simple as that. And they gang up together. And you're right about the mob mentality. When they get together with a different group of social folks that are of similar like kind, they all seem to get in there and do stuff. I think cyberbullying, for example, is abominable. It's uncalled for. You hurt people's feelings. But they seem to freely do it. They have fun doing it. And karma though. Karma goes around, comes around.
Yeah, I know. And what do you think the answer is? We obviously we just launched OnStellar, and OnStellar is an opportunity for a fresh start, if you will. Right? We've got a clean slate. It's
a great slate. I just sent out a tweet about OnStellar about 2 hours ago.
Well,
it's a great concept and a great idea.
And we have no trolls, right? They're going to be there, I assume. Yeah, right. But we have a clean slate, and how we would like it to continue to be a fun, safe place where you can absolutely speak your mind. But how do we address this and keep it, clean is not the right word, but to know that kind of activity is,
Well, what you need to do is you have to have somebody on staff who does nothing but look at these things and deleting and blocking people. And eventually you can get rid of a lot of this junk by doing that. You're not going to be able to solve all of it, and you're not going to be able to clean all of it up. But, and it's not our job to muffle 100%, but if somebody comes on and they're very, very hateful and vulgar, block them. Get them off. There's no place for that.
Yeah, Facebook needs a troll button. So I think OnStellar needs
they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone.
A troll button. And with OnStellar, in general, but OnStellar just happens to be this great platform, but I don't think that the UFO community has ever had, UFO, paranormal, supernatural community, has ever had the recognition of not only technology, but a community like this where they can go and hang out all at one place and have freedom of thought. But it's a technology that is the future, but for the first time, the community's been recognized first. And I think that's exciting.
I do too, and as it begins to grow, it's relatively brand new. It could be one of the great sites for people to become members of.
Now, how do you, before we get out of here, one of the questions that I think everybody has, so I'm going to ask for them, how do you select your guest? And are there ever... do you see an end, or is there always going to be the next great mind?
It never will stop. And how we pick our guests, we have a team who solicits, comes up with ideas, runs them by each other, and then we hone in on the guest. Sometimes a topic dictates the guest. Sometimes the guest dictates the topic. Sometimes there's a great book with a great guest. There's just all kinds of facets of things that are out there, Jimmy, that we look for and then try to find the right guest for the right moment. And then off we go. I have divided the program into 2 guests per night because I think it provides variety to people. If you have a guest that for some reason some people don't like, or maybe the guest just isn't as sparkly as he or she should, you don't want to kill the show. By having 2 different guests on, you might not like the first 2-hour guest, but you may love the second 2-hour. So I've been doing that now for about 2 or 3 years, and it's really paid off for us.
Favorite interview in the last 15 years? What stands out?
Gosh, there were many. So many, I can't say this person that did it. One of the most unusual was with a guy named Benjamin Krem, who claimed to be the representative of the Antichrist. And I had him on the air, and I'm starting to get emails from people who are saying, George, I'm getting ill listening to him. I'm getting sick. And I'm going, what's wrong with these people? All of a sudden, me, the guy who never gets sick, I didn't feel good. I had to go to a commercial, and I thought I was going to Chuck. And I ended up getting out of the interview, and then people started feeling good. That was the strangest of all of them.
That's an incredible... I've never heard this story before.
Yeah, he's no longer with us. Benjamin Krem has joined the Antichrist somewhere, but it was a weird night.
Now, what about the first time J.C. Webster called in?
Well, I had heard him with Art, so I was a little conditioned. But when he came in, called me a member of the mafia, and then just went on and on and on, I had a kick. But you know what? When he calls and cries and
did we lose?
Away by a biker.
Right.
He was, when I was doing one of the shows one day, and he tried to cry on the ear to me, and I decided not to become sympathetic to him. And so I said, she left with the biker because he's better than you. And she just broke down sobbing, "You're so awful, Mr. Noory." But he got a little bit of what was coming to him.
Yeah, J.C. Webster is a rite of passage, no doubt. And he called in one night with me, and it was great. But he went off on me. It was a lot of fun. But after I hung up, I thought to myself, well, you know what? I guess I'm part of this Coast to Coast team now.
You're part of the team. That's right. You're official.
Now, you just brought up Krem, but what about? Hold on. I'm sorry about that. Did you get sick again? Did Krem come back on the show, and did it repeat itself?
No, that was his last time, and the sickness went away almost immediately after he went off the air.
Now,
it was weird.
Best, I have to ask you, the best ghost story, and the reason why I want to know.
All right, you want the best ghost story?
I do.
Guy called in one day, said he was near suicide. Didn't know what to do. He decided to get in his car to look for the place he was going to kill himself. He had a gun. And so he drove, and he drove, and he drove. And he found a little lake on the side of the road, and he saw ducks hitting it and flying out, and he saw a little bench by there, and he said, that's where I was going to do it. So he said, I went there, I sat down to contemplate this, I was ready to pull out the gun and shoot myself in the head. Just at that moment, an old farmer in coveralls sat down next to me, and I went, geez. And he said, the guy wouldn't shut up. He started talking to me about life and this and that. And he said, you know what, though? After about an hour, he actually had me feeling good about myself. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to go back to my home, get a new job, get a new relationship, and start my life over. And so he left. And he did that. About a year later, after the guy had a new career, got married to a wonderful woman, and his life was just perfect for him, he decided to come back to that little town and thank that barber. I mean, thank that guy. He didn't know his name, so he went to the barber shop because it was a small little city, right?
Right.
And so he said, there was a guy I met about a year ago. He looked like this. I'm sure he comes here to get his hair cut. You're the only barber in town. And the barber stopped him and said, go to the top of the hill. There's a white house there. Just knock on the door. The guy's daughter will come. And he went, okay. And he said, George, as I was doing this, I kind of figured something had happened to the guy. But he said, so I knocked on the door. A younger lady came, and I said, excuse me, but I just wanted to thank your father for something that he had done for me about a year ago. And she said, stop. You're the fifth person to come up to me and thank me about Dad. He died 10 years ago.
Wow. That's a good story.
You hear that?
That's a
great story.
You're going to be at Contact in the Desert. I'm going to be there 1 week from tomorrow. I'm going
to be there Saturday, June 2nd, for my luncheon, and then for the banquet at night with some singing, and then there's a award ceremony in the banquet, plus a panel. So all day Saturday, Jimmy, I'll be there at Contact in the Desert in Indian Wells. It's at the Renaissance Hotel. And full information, I'll let you give that out.
Well, and the other thing is the special announcement will be next Friday. We'll do the special announcement. That's the announcement.
You can do the special announcement next Friday.
Now, am I getting an award on Saturday?
I have no idea. I got to keep it secret.
Oh, you're no fun. Thank you so much, George. Have a great show tonight.
Thanks, Jimmy.
George Noory, everybody. George Noory, Coast to Coast AM. What a great conversation. Cool guy, let me tell you. George Noory. Coming up next, Victoria Gavarian is here from Contact in the Desert. This is Fade to Black. Stay with me.
out here. We listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi folks, what can I say without making claims? CBD is truly the buzzword for health. What does it do? Government institutions will not allow me to say what this wonderful oil does for us. But I can say it's non-GMO and organic. I can say it's 0.003 THC, which in plain English means you won't get high. There are those that want to squash your freedom to buy natural products. Fight back with your purchase power. In the end, it is you that takes care of your health. Go to ancientlifeoil.com. One more time, ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I almost said coast to coast. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Got to thank George Noory. Great conversation. Victoria Gavoyan is here with us. Contact in the Desert. She's one of the creators of and shares the vision behind Contact in the Desert. And tonight, we're going to discuss the secrets behind CITD and why it so quickly has become one of the greatest, biggest, and bestest UFO conferences in the entire world. We're going to talk about what we can expect next week at the 2018 conference, and this year being held at Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California. And, of course, tickets and info over at contactingthedesert.com. But I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Victoria Gavoyan. Victoria, good evening.
Hi, how are you? Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on again.
It's so good to hear your voice. Okay, Victoria, you have nothing to do you? You guys are all ready.
I'm telling you right now, I'm even shocked that I'm on here right now. I've got so much going on. You know, we really wanted to make this year special, so we have been working like day and night, bringing in new people, bringing in new things, just cutting edge technology, all sorts of interesting things that they're going to experience this year that we've never had before. Now that we're at this new venue, we've got more room to spoil all our attendees.
Wait, how do you manage to top the previous year? I mean, seriously, how do you pull that off?
You know, I'll tell you, my actual motto is actually bigger, better, different, no matter what. I never look at what anybody else is doing. I'm always staying focused on what I have in front of me. There's this really great story about these two people that had exactly identical stores across the street from one another. And one was doing like amazing, and the other one's watching them, and they got the same materials, the same everything. And finally, the one that was really successful, he retires, and the other guy walks across the street and says, I don't understand. I had everything you had. I did everything you did. Same hour, same everything. Why is it that you made it? And he said, because I was watching my customers while you were watching me. And so therefore, that is the primary element. I stay focused on only one thing, our attendees, and focusing on what they want and how to make things bigger, better, and different each year. So you never know what you're going to get. Surprising them.
This year, as you know, especially after last year with the Close Encounters spectacular, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, wait a minute, I want you to know, and I'm still mad at you. We were at a dinner, everybody. I want your listeners to hear this. So we had a dinner, and Jimmy, gets up and a text saying there's a sighting. He runs out of the dinner, tells no one, including me.
Oh,
I can't believe it.
What? No.
What did you guys think? Come on, tell us. What was it that you saw?
Yeah. That was that was an incredible night. And see, the thing, what?
Wish I could have been there, Jimmy.
Well, see, the thing is, that was George's birthday party, so you couldn't leave. But what had happened? At 9 o'clock, you guys had to clear the tables out for the dance floor, right?
Right.
And
right,
so
exactly.
Rita and I stand up, and at that moment, as we stand up, Rita's phone, a text comes in and says, UFOs right now over at the lookout. And she sees that, and she's like, where's the lookout? Where's Orion's lookout? I said, I don't know. So we went outside. We grabbed a security guy, that was outside. And he took us there. But the point is, we didn't know. And once we got wrapped up in it, as we all know now, we didn't know then. Right. But it turned out to be one of the craziest nights in UFO history. We had hundreds of people out there with this huge mass sighting. And we didn't make it back to George's birthday party.
I turned around. Where's Jimmy? I was looking around at that. No, it's great. I was so happy that you guys, because we won. I mean, almost every year we have sightings. But what made last year different was the fact that we actually had cameras out there at the time. They were just going out to give me some B-roll of people enjoying the night vision goggles.
Right.
I mean, did you use the night vision goggles when you had the sighting?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Oh, my gosh.
So now, this year, how are you going to top last year? What, of course, Fade to Black will be Friday night, but Saturday night, Saturday day, what have you got going on?
Well, first of all, at the onset of the whole thing, we have what is just amazing. I can hardly wait. This is the first time we're having it at the show. The other place didn't allow us the room. Now we have bigger rooms. We have bigger area to work with. And another thing, for those of you who really enjoy being out underneath the night, the night air and the beauty of the stars, sitting beneath the stars, at this place, we actually have an indoor amphitheater, fully air conditioned, and an outdoor amphitheater. So that's one great thing about this new venue that we're at. The great thing about it was that they're actually going to build I think it's like 35, 45 feet dome, 360 dome, virtual reality experience It's virtual reality without the glasses. So you're completely surrounded all the way around you, and you're experiencing we have different shows. There's one on dark matter, where you're actually traveling out into space, and you go to the origins of time and where matter came from. We've got another one on that's more meditative experience. We have one on the 7 temples of Peru, all sorts of different things. So people get a choice of whichever one they want to go to. So that's one of the best things. Next year we'll have the balloons again. we just keep going. Each year we add new things that people not maybe experience.
How big is now? Are there 2 amphitheaters? Is there one inside and one outside?
Yeah, there's a one outside area, but this year I thought, we have it, but I'm not sure about the weather and everything. I have to see, but definitely the indoor amphitheater is going to be terrific.
How big is it? A
couple thousand people. It's huge. It's huge.
Okay. Did you say a couple of thousand people?
Yeah. Yeah, almost 2,000. Yeah, just in that one room. I'm telling you, it's so nice. We have plenty of room. I'm so glad we have room to grow there. We're really excited about it.
So we've got so Saturday we've got speakers all day long, of course, but we have the George Noory luncheon, right?
Yeah, the George Noory luncheon, and of course Jimmy's going to be there as well. We have all sorts of things. By the way, it is George's birthday, so you might as well just go buy a gift for him this week. He loves gifts. And then, of course, we have the dinner at night. That's the awards dinner. And, of course, we will do something for Art Bell as well, since his passing away. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to be giving an award to Linda Monhow, right?
Oh, you can't announce that. You can't announce that in advance.
Oh, I thought it's. Oh, sorry. Can you cut that out? No, don't tell anybody. You can come to the show, but you're not allowed to share that. There you go.
So Linda gets wait
magic show that night too.
Well, I'll be hosting that. I'm looking for now. Yeah. When you say magic show, is this like David Copperfield, like ginormous?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's huge. Yes, this is going to be. It's like a Las Vegas size magic show. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And now I want to go back. Wait. So if Linda's you're saying I'm not getting an award?
Okay, I'll find something for you. I'll ask Rita what you like best.
Oh, stop! I'm just messing with you. Now that cat's out of the bag, I mean, I really wanted to. I wanted everybody to be surprised, but so there you go. Now, okay, so this magic show though. This is in the amphitheater. Is this is a UFO conference? So is the magic show have a UFO theme to it?
Well, he's using, everything that we're doing always has some form of a theme to it, including, when he takes one thing from going from one spot to another, that's teleportation. So the whole language changes, and yes, it's geared around ours. Yes. It's a little bit of levity because, as you know, when you go to this, you're starting at, sometimes 7:30 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, and you're going until 11:30 midnight, and it's so much brain stuff, right? And so it just gives you a little bit of time to just relax and enjoy and laugh and play after all of that heady work. So.
Now, the resort itself, moving from Joshua Tree, which had its charm, and I know you fought that battle because, it's hot, it's dusty, it's in the middle of the desert, but you know what? It was charming. It was fun, and you kind of just dealt with the elements, and that was part of the appeal. Now we're at the Renaissance Resort and Spa, the polarized opposite of Joshua Tree. So what are some of the amenities there?
Okay, so, first of all, the whole key with this is that you would be so astounded when you came in that you would take a breath. And I think we're going to achieve that. Seriously, I can't ruin it for you. I can't really for people that are listening in. I just can tell you that the moment you don't walk in the door, you're going to take a breath. I mean, that is how over the top we've taken it to make sure that I mean, even the hotel, what they're doing, all the rooms are great. I mean, they gave free drinks for the first 300 people. I mean, they've gone out of their way to make sure that our attendees are so happy. Every room has a balcony. The swimming pool, it's huge. It just wraps around an island and has a beach, a real sandy beach, okay? And I have to tell you this. Even my assistant, Crystal, whom you really know, she got on me. I'm not allowed to wear my jeans and my white shirt with pennies anymore. I can't believe it. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, nope, you got to dress up now. I'm going, oh, no. So my attendees or our attendees can wear whatever. But I had 2 phone calls. Okay, Victoria, you're not going to wear jeans, right? So now I got to get dressed. But that's okay. I don't mind. It's funny. But truly, the hotel is just magnificent. It's beautiful, but not pretentious. It is actually comfortable. And it's on Native American land, so you're still got that warmth factor. It's just that it's beautiful, but in a sublime way. It's so peaceful that you can enjoy one another and sit and talk. You're guided to sit near the water. They have so many water features. I'm hoping to get the boats into there's like a little river area there, and they said they were thinking about bringing that in. So I'm hoping that next year we'll have that as our new feature too. So it's really wonderful. It's a wonderful spot.
Now, did you just say, okay, first you just said beach, so the pool's got a beach, but before that, I think I heard you say free drinks for the first 300 people?
Yeah, they gave free drinks for the first 300 people that made their reservations at the hotel. Oh, seriously, I'm serious. We are so spoiling everybody that comes in. It's amazing, seriously. The food is great. The food, I have to tell you, so I have to pick a hotel. So everything you have to go through, you have to eat all their food, you have to sleep overnight, see how their service is and everything. Impeccable. And when I went to the food, I only wished that I had a bigger stomach because the food was magnificent. So and they've got plenty of lines so people can get through really fast. They can have a moment to relax or walk around the vendors, the amazing vendors that we have with us this year. No, it's really something different. It really is. It's really different. And that we have 6 things going on at the same time. I mean, we've got, 50, just with your ticket, you got over 50 speakers speaking, and we've got, 8 panels. We've got workshops. We've got intensives coming. I mean, it's taking. It truly is.
Now, I'm just going to let you know, room service and a spa, that speaks volumes to me. And just so you know, over at Joshua Tree, you know what my room service was? At 1:00 in the morning, it was Jack in the Box,
oh my God.
up the freeway 4 miles, and then back to Joshua Tree.
And listen, and tell Rita that she can wear heels now.
Yeah.
Because remember the dirt out there we had to walk through.
No,
it's totally different. It's so much fun, though.
Absolutely. And one of the, for me, the ability over at Joshua Tree to walk outside and look at the stars, right? The stars. You just looked up and your breath was taken away. We're just down the hill in Indian Wells from Joshua Tree. Are we going to have the same breathtaking views of the night sky?
Yes, just about. What we did is that they're actually going to have an area. There's an area behind the hotel, which is an all golf course. So there are no lights back there. The golf course is not lit up. Nothing's lit up out there. Right. So it was the perfect place. And this time what we're going to do is Ben Hansen's with us, and he's going to be guiding the people with the night vision goggles and all. And we're also going to have a screen up so that people can see as if they were looking through the night vision goggles as well. So if they don't want to, but I'm telling you, if you can look through a pair of night vision goggles free to just look wherever in the sky, it truly is amazing. It is the most favorite thing that I actually own, my night vision goggles. I'm serious. That is how special they are. You're right. Looking through a pair of night goggles into the night and that beautiful Milky Way above you is just amazing. So we're in Hotel Alley, but the hotels are far enough apart, and there's nothing else out there but those few hotels. See, so no, it's really is truly great. And we also have the Cosmic Cafe. Remember, that's going on a couple times a day, where people just gather and they share their stories and their experiences of abduction or UFO sightings and that. Besides the Noory luncheon and the awards dinner, we've got the magic show, as you said. We have films. We also, what makes ours bigger, better, different is we have tours. We have tours that go to the Integratron, to Giant Rock, where George Van Tassel would gather people up back in the 50s, and they had all the UFO sightings and all. They even have an airport strip it out in the landing in the middle of the desert where there's nothing. It's really unique. It's really unique in the fact that you have your biggest and most well-known speakers, but not only they are coming, like of course, like George Noory and yourself, and Giorgio Tsoukalos from Ancient Aliens. But we also have people who are coming up the ranks now and that are just as amazing. And we want to be able to also be known for bringing in new talent as well. But we go all over the world. We have that one. I hope you're able to attend. We have one panel that it's UFOs around the world, and we've got people coming in from Brazil to do that. We have Canada. We have, of course, the Native Americans with Clifford Mahooty talking about the Star People. We've got, Africa, Michael Tellinger. Everybody's going to come in with their own specific area that they're in and tell us what is going on in those different parts of the world. So, we're not only about what's going on in the United States, but we're looking at worldwide.
You want to take a phone call?
Yeah, why not?
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Yeah, hi, Jimmy. I just wanted to ask Miss Gavoyan who's her favorite co-producer.
See, I don't know. No, it's Paul Andrews. No, seriously, guys, I couldn't have a better partner. We've been together for about 7 years now. I think we've only argued like once or twice.
Oh, I'm not buying that for a second. I'm not. No, don't. You're not selling me
really.
that. Really?
No.
I know. Really
well.
I'm going to tell you why. Because
the only
he has
time
a
we
really
argue
good wife,
is
and he's well trained.
who's going to get on Jimmy Church first.
So this is what was really funny, Victoria. I told Paul last week, I'm like, okay, Paul, we're going to bring you on, but don't tell Victoria. So Paul's like, okay, this is going to be great, right? And meanwhile, Victoria is on the phone with me going, so what about Paul? Screw Paul. What? Are you sure? Are you sure we're not going to have Paul on? I'm like, no, we don't need Paul. And it was so funny, Paul. Victoria was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this by myself. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
She's doing just fine. She's hitting all the right notes, don't you think, Jim?
Yeah, she's amazing. So I'm going to ask
hitting
you.
all the right notes.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, everybody. This is Paul Andrews, the producer, along with Victoria of Contact in the Desert. And truly, right. Paul, it has turned into, we expected this, but it is the biggest, bestest, most awesome UFO conference in the world. There's nothing like Contact in the Desert. But
Jimmy, it's gotten that way because we have, great people that support us, like you and George and Clyde Lewis. And, I think that, we also have a very dynamic team with Victoria and I. And, how many other shows can say that they've actually had live sightings that were captured on video? How many other shows can say that?
Right. None.
And how many other shows can say, hey, we've got Giorgio Tsoukalos and Linda Moulton Howe and Eric Van Daniken,
David
Robert
Wilcock
Schock,
and Corey Good.
David Wilcock, Corey Good,
Emery
Michael
Smith.
Tellinger. You know, I mean, I really feel like we have the all-star lineup in our show, and I'm grateful for that. And, you know, I'm grateful for all the people that come too. I've met some really wonderful people, and I think that, you know, that people have a good time when they come there. You know, it's fun. It's not like they're just sitting around listening to a bunch of lectures and stuff. This is a very experiential event, as Victoria has said. And, you know, every year we try to have new people so that we infuse new energy into it, like Nassim Harriman, right?
Right.
How great is he?
Oh, absolutely. He's great.
Paul
and Hugh Newman. Hugh Newman's new, and he's going to talk about megaliths and all. We got Jim Vieira on stone anomalies, Brian Forster, elongated skulls, Freddie Silva, crop circles. I mean, seriously, we've got anything from scientists to NASA whistleblowers, FBI. Look at D'Souza, right?
Yes.
And we have politicians, Jimmy. This year we had a senator last year. This year we have Congressman Merrill Cook coming. And he's going to help us, you know, kick everything off. And he's got very definite opinions, as you know, about this field.
Well, I want the audience to know that the both of you throughout the year are in constant contact with Rita and myself about you know, who out there, who is you know, you guys are looking for the fresh view, the fresh take, the new experience. Yes.
You're the first place we look, Jimmy, because you have all the leading edge people.
Well, and it's important to know that, and for the audience, you guys, you guys are not resting. This is an all year production for you guys, and you want it to be the best, and it really shows. I wanted to,
I was going to say every year, I always say, oh my God, this is an amazing lineup. And then I always stop and I go, wow, I don't know if I could ever beat this again. And then sure enough, the stars are with us. Paul and I sit down, we go through the names, we go through our research, this and that. By the time we're done, it's stupendous. I mean, we already have started. I wish I could tell you right now who's coming next year.
Oh, she does that to me every year, Paul.
No.
Yeah, every
we're
year.
Not spill the beans.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to have a very strong program next year. We have a very strong program this year. And it's just like we've been blessed that way from the very beginning. And I'm not quite sure why. I think it's clean living and, you know, having a close association with you, Jimmy, and certainly with George. You know, you and George have been amazing. I so enjoy, you know, working with you guys and having you at the show and listening to your show and seeing who you guys have on. And, you know, we listen to them and we say, yeah, hey, you know, this guy's really good or this woman's really good. And, you know, that's a lot of the way we pick the people that come to the show.
So, Paul, are you guys ready? Are you done? You have nothing left to do?
Oh yeah, sure. We have overall everything.
Well, let's say this, Jimmy. We're prepared.
We are.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good answer. I'm really looking forward. One of the if there was a drawback to Joshua Tree, which we all loved, that I would be lying if I didn't say that. That's true.
It's easy, air conditioning.
But well, that's one. But second, you know, food and having access to just whatever your needs are, and food is paramount when you have thousands and thousands of people there. And I'm really looking forward to the Renaissance and its restaurants.
Not to mention the bar, you know.
Oh my God!
Food and alcohol are too, you know,
I've
way
already
up
warned
there
the
for
hotel.
us.
I said, better be well stocked.
Look out for the Fade to Black T-shirts.
Well, I have Victoria. I don't know if you know this. I know you're going to be jealous, but I actually have a signed Fade to Black hat signed by Jimmy Church himself.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul. Victoria.
Well, that's okay. Rita's going to take care of me, Paul.
Paul, thank you so much, my friend. And 7 days, we'll be there a week from tomorrow, is going to go by like a blink. So just get some sleep, and we'll see you in 7 days out there in Palm Springs. Thank you so much, my friend.
You bet. We'll be there with bells on our toes, Jimmy.
You got it. That's Paul Andrews, everybody. Paul Andrews, Contact in the Desert. And now, Victoria, I know that was a surprise, but
it was indeed.
And so we're going to take a break, and then when I come back, we've got another surprise guest for you, and we'll take this thing through. But are you excited? We've got about a minute to the break, but are you excited right now?
No, not really, because I'll tell you why. I stay focused. I'll be fine afterward. I'll look back and go, wow, this is great and all that. I really have to stay focused. That way you don't freak out, or you just stay calm and confident. I think that's the most important thing, is not to let anything move you. Just stay centered at all things. It's kind of my path. If I go too far up, you're going to go that far down. So why do that? I just try to stay right in the middle, and like I said, calm and confident, and just focused on what I'm doing and making sure that everything gets done. And between Crystal and I, doing all of that other aspect, the other part that Paul doesn't do, get all of that done. Once we get through that, anytime either one of us feel a little tensed or whatever like that, we just start laughing. We look at the irony of life, because we know it's all an illusion anyway, right?
Well, yes, but, and I was thinking, there's one thing I am going to miss, and you're going to laugh, but there's one thing I'm going to miss.
Yeah?
The golf carts.
Oh.
I'm going to miss the golf carts.
You know what? I think George is going to miss the golf carts too, because they like driving around in that Tom.
They were fun. They were fun.
Funny.
The golf carts were fun. I'm going to miss the golf carts. And
right.
I really, I'm looking at some of the pictures that are being posted of, the main indoor amphitheater conference room. That is ginormous and beautiful.
Yes.
That is incredible. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
I know, it's so exciting. It's kind of like, though, we just grew up. It's so weird. It's kind of a strange feeling. You were asking me, I'm excited. I'm not really excited. I just look at it like we grew up. We're still the same inside, but something has changed. That the energy has shifted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
John moved to another level.
Yeah, John just tweeted. He said that instead of golf carts, he'll push me around in a wheelchair. So I've got that going for me. Let's take a break. This is Fade to Black. More with Victoria and our next special guest right after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn
it. This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Right now, we've got Victoria Gavoyan on with us from Contact in the Desert. And I do want to thank George Noory for spending a very solid hour of conversation with us earlier. Just a great evening here on the show. And Victoria, I just, I want to surprise you. It's kind of like, this is your life. Right, this is your life. And I would like to welcome to the program Giorgio Tsoukalos. Giorgio, good evening.
Oh, my God, Giorgio.
How's it going, guys? I'm so happy to be here because I can't look forward enough to this new Contact in the Desert that will be at a new event center out in Indian Wells, very close to Coachella. So everybody, if you don't have your tickets yet, come out. We still have tickets. It's going to be an event for the ages. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, my love. I can't believe this. What a surprise.
Yeah, we set her up pretty good, Georgia. We set her up pretty good. So thank you for that.
Oh, my God.
Now, Victoria, let me jump in really quick. I want the audience to know that Giorgio has been out taping. He's been out of the country. And him and I have been texting and in contact over the last couple of weeks to do this show tonight. And but he just got back into country. He's been on set all week taping, and he told me a couple of days ago that he's on 3 time zones away. He's still he still hasn't arrived, but he's here tonight. And Giorgio, seriously, thank you for fitting this in to your very busy schedule, because I know what it means to Victoria and to this audience. So thank you, my friend.
No, absolutely no problem. And in my head, it is actually 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm doing well. I'm awake, so that's good. But I've just returned from Egypt, Greece, and Sardinia, all filming for the new season of Ancient Aliens, and we've taped some really amazing stuff with some unprecedented access to places that sometimes not even archaeologists get to go. So I'm really looking forward to sharing all the information as this season unfolds.
Now, here we are. We're in season number 50, right? And we're in season number 50. And, Giorgio, when you go back to when you and I first met 10 years ago, 11 years ago, here in the Valley, you spoke, it was season 1. You spoke at Steve Murillo's event at MUFON. At the time, it was MUFON. And season 1 had just kicked off. And here we are today. Did you have any idea, man? Did you have any idea that this would happen with Ancient Aliens and yourself?
No. And, it just goes to show what a tremendous reception this whole show has been with the fans, because without the fans, without the audience, we would not still be around. And so I really have to give my love to and appreciation for the fans for tuning in on a weekly basis, especially when the new season is on, which is right now. In fact, on Friday, a new episode will air on history. So tell your friends, tune in, please, record it and everything. But absolutely not. I mean, this was something where, not many people know this, but the show itself, yes, season 1 was great. However, season 1 was never a done deal anyway, or either, because we did this as a 2-hour documentary back in 2008 as a one-off, as a 2-hour one-off thing, and we tried to cram as much information in as possible. And then there were times where the History Channel just repeated the show, and the repeats got as good ratings as the original airing, which is still, by the way, the case, that the reruns do almost as well as the premiere episodes. And then they approached Prometheus, and they said, hey, can we have more of this stuff? And the first words out of Kevin Burns' mouth were, are you trying to kill me? And
right.
Here we are. We have over 150 hours, and I'm very proud also of our team, because what many people also don't realize is that we have over 50 people, researchers and producers and writers and directors working on these shows. So without them, we would not, have these really awesome shows.
And just like Ancient Aliens, we have Contact in the Desert, and you and I have been involved with Contact, from the beginning, and we've watched it. You and I there, Rita, and you've got Crix, and the four of us, where we are able to, over these last, 5, watch this thing grow, right? Just watch this thing, and you're there. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well, and I've said this on multiple occasions before, Contact in the Desert is by far my most favorite UFO conference on the planet. And I think that the event itself speaks, volumes, because anyone who is anyone in that field speaks at Contact in the Desert. And what I thought was so amazing was that, Victoria, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there were, about 500 people or so first year, and then last year I think there were over 5,000. So this is
just keeps
a
growing.
tremendous success.
And the other part about it is you are as accessible as anybody there. Anybody can go up and hang out with you and ask you questions, and you're right there every single day and night.
Yes.
Well, and
no,
I think
he's wonderful. He is.
so
I just have to say, George, oftentimes people get well-known, famous, and all that, and then they get kind of off. They're just separate. They separate themselves and everything. Giorgio is so warm, so inviting, so loving. I have to tell you that. I feel so honored to have him at our show. Seriously, guys, he makes himself accessible to the people, and that is why he's so successful.
Giorgio?
Well, look, I have to tell you this, that there's a different feel at Contact in the Desert, because I have been to many conferences worldwide, whether they're other UFO conferences or corporate events or Comic-Cons and stuff like this. But, at Contact, I don't know what it is, but a different breed of people show up to that event, where everybody is open-minded. Everyone is also incredibly nice. And there's a ton of great questions and observations. And what better place than to feed onto new information, because there's one lady that comes to me every year, and she tells me about new UFO abduction stories or encounters that she has experienced with her family, no less. And, oftentimes with these abduction stories or encounter stories, you think, these people are lying. But when you have these people stand in front of you and they look you into your eyes, and sometimes they can get quite emotional, right there, it's the real deal. And this has only really happened, or is only really happening at Contact. So if you're listening to this and you've never been to a UFO conference, give it a try, because everyone is there to listen to you, have a conversation, and you can unload your heart.
There is there's one point that I would love to hear your response to this question, and it's an important one. Ancient aliens may be very viewable to the UFO community. That's great. That's an obvious thing. But it has also exposed this important question, not only about our history, but about what is going on this planet of ours, to millions and millions of people that would have never considered it before. And it is part of an awareness that is global. That's a heavy responsibility that I think that the show bears, and you do too as well. But it is, the UFO question now is completely global, and the mass media is part of it now. And I think we can thank Ancient Aliens for that. But it is a heavy responsibility, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to sound like Spider-Man, but here's the deal. I think that the fact that the whole, global media now actually, puts these types of news on their front pages, like, the Pentagon story of December 2017,
right,
where a 5-year Pentagon UFO research program has been revealed. I think that right now we are experiencing a paradigm shift. And if Ancient Aliens was able to help that paradigm shift, then you can bet that I am incredibly proud what we have achieved, especially, with Prometheus and the History Channel, that they have been bold enough to, give this show a chance. And like I said, if it weren't for the audience, they would have taken us off the air a long time ago. But at the same time, I still think it is incredibly courageous for the History Channel to continue airing these shows.
The title is Ancient Aliens, but you can also look to the future and look at current events, like you did at on the premiere of the season. Is that something that we can look forward to with future programming?
Yes, because I think that the present UFO phenomenon 100% has a tie or has a connection to the ancient astronaut idea. Because personally, I have never suggested that the ancient astronauts were here, 2, 3, 5,000, 10,000 years ago, and then they just left. I've always suggested or maintained the idea that, okay, the great majority of them may have moved on to different planets to maybe seed life elsewhere. But as a parent to a child, you'll never, unless you're mental, but you're never going to lose interest in the development of your children. So this is why I think that the current UFO phenomenon totally ties into ancient aliens, and this is why we have embraced exploring present day and even UFO events of the last 50 years in our program.
You said to me once, you and I were talking UFOs, and this was private, but it doesn't matter. It's public now. You said to me, you said, Jimmy, I'm not really a UFO researcher. I don't jump into that ancient stuff in history and lost history. That's my thing. That's what I do. And I looked, and I have such respect for that. But now, are you a UFO researcher? Are you having to change jackets a little bit?
I'll be honest with you that only through my work with ancient aliens, I have my interest in modern day ufology has peaked. I would have to volunteer to say 100%. Just tonight I ordered a book off of a website that is called UFOs and Nukes, written by Peter Hastings.
Great book.
And I can't wait to a book to arrive on Saturday, and I will spend 5 hours just sitting down and reading it or reading parts of it because, something has to be said or can be said about inexplicable aerial phenomena that not only point in the direction of extraterrestrials, but also that they are interested in kind of, showing us that they have capabilities where, for example, they now have military records that have been declassified that are clear, that tell us that UFOs, and not just in the United States, but also in the former Soviet Union, that they were able to put nuclear rocket silos offline. Now, that is extraordinary, and I think it merits further investigation because we need to figure out what or who are we dealing with here.
I've asked you, Victoria's going to love this question. I've asked you before, and the most important site and for you, and you've always Jimmy, it's Pumapunku. It will always be. Is it still Pumapunku for you, or is Göbekli Tepe kind of pushing into the picture?
Jimmy, it's always Pumapunku. No, I'm very interested in Göbekli Tepe, but I'm not sure if but Pumapunku still wins. But here's the deal that's happening at Göbekli Tepe right now. Did you guys, and also the Federnauts out there, have you guys seen or heard about those reports that they are now deliberately pouring concrete over some of those ancient monuments? It is absolutely inexplicable why this is done, because we have a site in ancient Greece on the island of Santorini called Akrotiri. And Akrotiri, some have suggested it is part of the fabled city of Atlantis, or island of Atlantis. And there, not a single walkway that goes through that site even touches the ancient monuments, because it's kind of built on stilts. It goes across in the air like bridges over Akrotiri.
Right.
So you can't tell me that you need to pour concrete onto ancient monuments in order to build walkways. So, in my opinion, I think that right there what we are seeing is a desecration of an ancient site that may have to do with active censorship.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
and
I agree too.
Yeah. With the firsthand reports that I've gotten, that you've gotten too, Giorgio, that the workers out there are without direction. Right? There's nobody out there. They're just pouring concrete for these sidewalks willy-nilly. There isn't an archaeologist or a college or a government body out there for guidance. Apparently, they're just doing what they want to do. And I don't think that they fully understand the importance of that site. They don't have a clue. They're just out there with cement trucks pouring concrete.
Well, if that is true, if there is no supervision by any archaeological body, then I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, that's awful.
Yeah, somebody should go to prison. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's that nutty for me. Now, okay, so back to Pumapunku and Göbekli Tepe. Here, these sites, which can be, tens of thousands of years old. Pumapunku could potentially go back 15,000 years. That's a crazy number. Göbekli Tepe, 12,000 years old. That's a crazy number. But there is also going to be another Pumapunku and another Göbekli Tepe out there. How many more do you think could be?
Well, you raise a very interesting question because, with the advancement of what they now refer to as space archaeology, where satellites are being used in order to use radar or some type of instrument that can actually look into the ground. There is this Egyptologist working in Egypt right now, where she is implementing that type of technology that apparently she has already, by doing that, discovered over 3,000 sites in Egypt alone that have so far remained under the sand or under the vegetation. So, there is this ancient history or ancient story of this massive, gigantic labyrinth in ancient Egypt that so far has completely eluded not just our modern archaeologists, but even the first historians that wrote about ancient Egypt or have visited ancient Egypt, like Herodotus and Strabo and Plinius and Pliny, all those guys that have had first-hand eyewitness accounts of ancient Egypt. Even back then, they were told of this fabled labyrinth, and nobody's found that yet. And so I think we are in a new era of future discoveries in archaeology, Egyptology worldwide. Same thing happens in Pumapunku right now. They're using ground-penetrating radar in that entire area, and I've just been there about a year ago last, and already massive excavations are taking place there, and they've already uncovered some gigantic monoliths made out of gray andesite. And by the way, whoever says that there is no gray andesite at Pumapunku, those are the disinformation agents. Those are the liars.
What are you going to be speaking about at Contact in the Desert? And as you answer that, the new chamber that was just discovered above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid is a huge discovery. Do you have any insight on that? Do you have any knowledge about what that could be and what was in there?
Well, what I'm really happy to let you know that this will be part of one of our future episodes on Ancient Aliens, because I had the great privilege and honor to travel to Egypt with a good friend of mine and Egyptologist, Dr. Rami Romani. And we had unprecedented access to the pyramid, and we actually stood inside the Queen's Chamber with the machine, the muographic machine that actually was used to discover that void above the Grand Gallery. So to tell you that I was excited is an understatement.
Right.
But the other thing that's really interesting is that the fact that Great Pyramid has more chambers than the accepted 3 chambers, that has already been proven in 1987 or 86 by the Waseda University of Tokyo, Japan.
Right.
But they also were measuring cosmic rays, and the only reason why this story didn't gain any traction, I can tell you why, is because the internet did not exist back then, and the Waseda University was basically told to pack up their stuff and go home and kind of remain quiet about this. But if you're excited about reading scientific reports, there is a Waseda University archaeological report from 1986 in which those chambers are described. So the fact that now Egyptology is accepting the idea that there are multiple or more chambers inside the Great Pyramid, that is what science is all about, and I'm really pleased to see that they're not trying to censor this stuff. Because here's the deal. It is often said that Egyptologists are critical of our work, but with the people that I've had the privilege of speaking about 6 weeks ago, all I have to tell you is that they are excited about these new prospects, and one Egyptologist, a very famous one, actually told me to my face saying that the only reason why he does not agree that Egypt goes back 12,000 years before BC is only because, in his estimation, the forensic evidence that has been brought to him so far was not sufficient. But the moment that he entertains or sees or takes into consideration a piece of evidence that he finds sufficient, he has no problem in accepting that Egypt goes back 12,500 years BC. Now, that's a revolutionary statement coming from a bona fide Egyptologist. So this to me is a great promise that one day, I think, we'll all work together.
Yeah, they have to, Giorgio, they have to backpedal at one point. They're going to have to just address this. There's a lot of books that have to be rewritten, a lot of curriculum. There's a lot of saving face that is going to have to go on. And I get that because they've been, repeating the same dogma forever. But there's going to be something definitive, and at that point, they're going to join the party. They have to.
Well, and I think that the only way that we can foster this relationship is if we remain mutually respectful of each other, because I absolutely respect that man's opinion on that fact, because he wants actual physical proof for his idea, for this idea, and for someone to not accept what has been brought forth to him because he has certain parameters that he would like to have fulfilled. I must, as a researcher, I must accept that opinion, because what may be good enough for us is not good enough for someone who has dug in the sand for 20 or 30 years.
Right.
I really, I think that's a good thing, because, we have to remain critical. We cannot buy everything hook, line, and sinker, because it seems to me in this day and age, YouTube videos and with memes and all of this, that the memes now they're considered to be above science, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's one recent photo that was just circulating that said that jet engines don't need any jet fuel, they just need compressed air. I mean, it's complete nonsense. So are you telling me that a meme picture now transcends 5 years of aeronautics school, engineering school? Forget it. I mean, we live in very strange times right now.
Yeah, you make me think of the flat Earth memes, right? So the flat Earth memes are going to override, 2,000 years of science and persecution and prison. People died to prove these things, and you can't just rewrite history with a flat Earth meme.
No, and it would mean that every airline pilot, anyone working in astronomy, anyone working in aviation, everyone is in cahoots. I mean, it's just, forget it. That makes no sense. And if that's what you think, that the Earth is flat, dude, nobody can help you.
Nobody can help you. You know what? I'm going to use that quote. That's good. You said something to me, Giorgio. I don't know if you realize how many times I have quoted you. But I have done it constantly, both on this show and Coast to Coast and in conversation. You said, I don't know if it was last year or the year before when you were on the show, but you said something that was so profound. And you said, Jimmy, when E.T. finally lands and we are able to talk and he steps off and the flying saucer's there and the cameras are rolling and it's live on TV and Periscope and he comes down and we start talking to him, we're going to find out that we've all been wrong. And it was, I've quoted you so many times, and I've got to say, you're absolutely right. No matter what we have said or witnessed, videoed, eyewitness, abductions, everything out there. But when we actually have that conversation, we're going to find out that we've all had it wrong.
Well, to a certain extent. I mean, it'll be our first chance in modern times to actually have a conversation. And the other thing I've always said was the only way that the ancient astronaut theory can be disproven is when the extraterrestrials show up and they will tell us that they were never here in the first place. And that'll never happen. So, I think it'll be a huge, I'm also not advocating that we should hope for extraterrestrials to come here and help us with our energy problems or any problems, because we have free will. We've created all these things on our own. So, I think before we make contact, even, that we will have to somehow make sure that we clean our own house before they will actually attempt official contact.
Giorgio, thank you so much for taking your time, taking time out of your schedule to hang out with us tonight. But really quick, before I let you go, first off, thank you. What are you going to be speaking about this year at Contact in the Desert?
So I'll be giving my regular ancient astronaut lecture with pictures from all around the world and video clips and things like that. But then the thing that I always look most forward to at Contact is my 2-hour Q&A, where it's just me with a whole bunch of people in one room, and they can ask me any question under the sun. And it's one of my favorite things to do. And the only reason why that, by the way, exists is because the first couple of years when we had the event out in Joshua Tree, it was always so hot that sometimes the air condition went out and also the electricity. And so these couple of times, the electricity went out right when I was beginning my lecture, so no slideshow or no PowerPoint, and so just answered questions, and people absolutely loved it. And so, by the way, this year, and I'm not sure if Victoria already talked about this, but the event has moved to an indoor facility, air-conditioned, modern. And personally, I'm really looking forward to that because it really got hot sometimes in the desert. And so if some people didn't come to Contact because it was out in the sun, this is your chance. Come to Indian Wells because it will be air-conditioned. It will be inside. Of course, there will be other things on the outside. But, so you have your choice if you want to spend it in the heat or if you want to go inside and cool off.
I remember you're talking about, that was 3 or 4 years ago, and you were in the dome at Joshua Tree, and the power went out. So I walked in and I stood in the back and I thought, okay, now how's Giorgio going to handle this, right? And you had no PA system, right? And you just stood there and without a mic and just talked to the crowd for 2 hours. And
yeah, but you have to understand something, you guys. Giorgio is very pleasant to look at for the women. So I just watching it.
Giorgio, thank you so much, my friend. I know that you've got so much to do, but I look forward to hanging out with you. I can't believe I'm saying this, but 1 week from tomorrow, we're rolling out of here, and we're going to get there. So we'll see you next week. Safe travels, and there you go. Thank you so much, Giorgio.
Thank you so much, and it was a great pleasure having me on. Like I said, all the listeners who have not yet come to contact, if there's one event out of the whole year that you should attend, it's Contact in the Desert, and I'm sure Victoria will tell you where to get tickets and who to call. But it's a Renaissance Resort in Indian Wells on June 1st through June 3rd. Which is 8 days from now. So come on out, check it out, and, say hello to us.
Thank you so much, Giorgio. Be safe and be well, my friend.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, Giorgio. Thank you. See you soon.
Safe travels. I'm going to, Victoria, I'm going to have you hang on, okay? Let's take a commercial break right here, and then we'll pick up the conversation when we get back. Victoria?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, stay right there. Yeah, we are. Just want to make sure that you're going to be here when I get back. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Victoria Gavoyan. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, You know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Want to thank George Noory for coming in tonight. Paul Andrews, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Our guest tonight, Victoria Gavoyan of Contact in the Desert. And Victoria, for the audience, for those out there that are listening that won't be able to attend this year, and why they should attend next year, I want them to listen to this. This is not a joke. Speakers this year are George Noory, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Eric Von Daniken, Linda Moulton Howe, Robert Schock, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Michael Tellinger, Nick Pope, Michael Sala, Freddie Silva, Richard Dolan, Mike Barra, Nassim Haramain, Richard Casaro, Daniel Sheehan, Paul Stonehill, James Gilliland, Stephen Bassett, Grant Cameron, Merrill Cook, Hugh Newman, Peter Lavenda, Laura Eisenhower, Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber, A.J. Gavard, Ken Johnston, the astronaut, Clyde Lewis, Yvonne Smith, Brian Forrester, Jason Quitt, John D'Souza, Clifford Mahudi, JJ and Desiree Hertog, Jim Vieira, Carl Lehrberger, Brad Olson, Jeremy Corbell, Billy Carson, Doc Wallach, Sasha and Janet Lesson, Ben Hansen, Adam Curry, Robert Perala, Steve Murillo, Barry Fitzgerald, Steve Mara, Alan Steinfeld, Justin Deschamps, Dr. Joe Bookman, Barbara Lindsay, and Becky Merlino, all on one show.
You're missing one. Wait a minute. Emery Smith.
Emery Smith. Okay. Now, that's one of the announcements that we were going to do tonight. Emery Smith has just been added, and this is the most incredible group of people that you can get together all at one time. Congratulations.
Thank you. We've got the best lineup. I'm telling you. I'm so excited about all of this. I really am, and the new venue and everything else that's going on. It's just really remarkable. And I'm like Georgia was saying, there's something about the people who go to Contact in the Desert. They are the most sweetest, supportive, helpful, kindest, generous people. It's really amazing. I thank our of individuals that come. I truly feel that they are some very unique individuals, and I'm telling you, they are smart. They are smart people. The questions that they come up with, the information that they share, it's like being at MIT. I'm serious. We get scientists, people from NASA coming in, and all sorts of amazing individuals from all walks of life with great stories to share. And that's what it's all about, Contact in the Desert.
Now, Emery Smith, now certainly that is a big addition to this year's program. And you, and thank you for announcing it tonight on the show, but you could have half of the speakers that you have here and everything would be just fine. That's not good enough. And here we are, 2 weeks before the conference is kicking off, and you decided that it was important to bring on Emory, not only because of the timing of what is happening with him and his information that he's bringing forward, but it's important to have that for the attendees at Contact in the Desert, and you made that happen. That is a huge addition to an already amazing list of speakers.
And it's not only, and again, remember this, I'm always doing the other year at the same time. So if I can't grab someone this year, I'm going to grab them for the next year. We're setting up for another astronaut to come. I mean, when we talk astronauts, we talk about like people like Edgar Mitchell, who is now passed, but were with us here at Contact, and others, Story was there as well. But the point is to put the two together, to give them access to these amazing individuals that are out there. That's the key. That's the beauty of doing Contact in the Desert. I don't even get a chance to stop and look at anything. I'm so busy making sure that everything is rolling in the proper way it's supposed to flow, that it's really all about our attendees. It's really about getting the information to them. That is the key.
Well, and the audience right now that has already purchased their tickets and they're going to Contact, I know what they just did. Did Jimmy just say Emory Smith is going to be there? Did Jimmy just? Yes, Emory Smith is going to be at Contact in the Desert. But I want to, last year, and Victoria's right. There's so much to do, not only for Victoria and Crystal and the team and Paul, you guys are running around, but and for myself too as well. I'm working the entire time. But last year, Victoria, you and I were able to go up and get things started for the Close Encounters extravaganza. But you and I and Rita were able to sit down in the front row, walk off the stage, walk out front, sit down and relax, and just enjoy the presentation. And I got to watch your face, and all of the hard work, but that you put into it. But you were able to sit down and relax for a couple of hours, and I really enjoyed being able to do that with you. And it was a great presentation.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Was the year we did the hologram out of the spaceship out in the middle of the desert, and I mean, it's just there's no end to all of the things that we want. We even have it planned and all. So anyway, I have Chuck here. My husband just came in right now, and he's telling me, "Tell you about the dome." I did already. I told him because he loves the dome. That's why I don't know if we can get him out of there. He'll be staying there the whole time. But I'll tell you one thing. I was speaking to Luis Elizondo, and I know we're going to have him next year, and we're very excited about the things that he's showing. There's so many changes going on right now. I'm telling you, Jimmy, what's going on in Antarctica and all these different places. Paul and I are looking and doing all the research that we can right now to make sure that we have the up-to-date information on all these different things that are going on right now. And I'm telling you, this is the year of disclosure. We couldn't have had any better timing. I mean, everybody wants to know the truth, and it is coming out now finally. It's starting.
Thank you so much, Victoria, again, you are the busiest person on the planet, both you and Paul, and
Crystal, don't forget.
And Crystal,
working alongside.
Every time I call Crystal, I'm like, you're not doing anything right now, are you? You guys are incredible. And, seriously, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, and all of the Fadernauts. Thank you, Paul. And, of course, George is going on the air here in 10 minutes, and he was here with us tonight. Giorgio taped all day, all week, all month for Ancient Aliens. He came in tonight, and it was all because of you and Paul. Okay, so just thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate being on here. And I'm looking forward to seeing all you Fadernauts there. I always know where you are.
Be careful.
I can hear you.
Be careful be careful what you wish for, Victoria, and we'll all be there next week. All right?
Yeah.
Much success. We'll see you in a week. Thank you so much. Victoria Gavoyan, everybody. Thank you, Victoria. The event is Contact in the Desert. It is next week, of course, June 1st through the 4th, out in Palm Springs, Indian Wells, at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. You can still get tickets. Go to contactinthedesert.com. There is a schedule for, for every single day posted up there. Now, one of the coolest things about Contact is most conferences, and we're all used to this, you go and there's one room and that's it, and the speakers are there, which is great, right? Okay. At Contact, there are multiple rooms with when you have 50, 60 speakers at once, where you are able to go, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You can make decisions about who you want to go and see, or nobody at all. There is so much to do there. So that is what is great about Contact. All right, so go to contactinthedesert and .com and check out all of the tickets, info, and schedule. It is all right there. Now, I wanted to go back and visit a couple of points before I get out of here. And I do have enough time for one phone call. I'll take one phone call. Okay, 323-825-5045. Before I roll out of here. I got about 3 minutes. Okay, there it is. Boom, done. One phone call. Okay, that's it. You got to turn me down in the background. That's it. I won't do that. Sorry about that. You got to turn me down in the background. If you're going to take the time to call in, turn me down. I'm sounding old when I say that. I'm like old and grumpy, but you got to, if you're going to call in, be ready to go. All right? But a couple of points. I want to go back to what George had said earlier, that these are truly some of the most exciting times that we have ever been in. But he doesn't expect the government to be part of disclosure. It's going to happen through us. And I couldn't agree with him more. I have said so many times, if I had the vision on this, how this was going to happen, I think it's going to be something out of the government's control. Not necessarily, some mass sighting or anything like that, but a download, some type of WikiLeaks type of hack, some massive digital data dump going down. That's how I think it could happen, and force the government into making admission. There's too many years of lies and deceit that they're going to have to go back and cover up. So they're not going to do it voluntarily, but it will be out of their control. The second point that was brought up tonight that I thought was extremely important was back to what Giorgio had said, that when it comes to ancient aliens and ancient astronauts and ancient alien theory, going back throughout time, and the evidence of that happening in the past, near and ancient past, that is right there, and there is no end to that research that ancient aliens could do. But we also have to focus on today and what the future is, and that ancient aliens doing that slight shift in programming, they're never going to give up on the past. But the fact that it is in pop culture today, like it is, that ancient astronauts using ancient aliens, using the power that they have with the programming and the audience to address pop culture today, modern ufology today, is important. The platform that Ancient Aliens has, and the ability to bring it to the masses, to bring it out there to people that would never consider it, or ever pursue it. Maybe they thought about it, but they didn't know where to go. And Ancient Aliens every Friday night on History Channel being right there, done. And I think that is not only an important decision, but a positive one. Burns and his ability to get the information out there, get it out there quickly, but to a huge audience is very, very important. And when you combine that with all of the other efforts and how mass media apparently has done their shift, and they are okay to talk about it, and then we have Ancient Aliens moving this forward through modern stories today. It's some of the biggest news that could ever break on this show. I'm so looking forward to this season of Ancient Aliens and what Fade to Black can do and play its part, and certainly Coast to Coast AM2 as well. So I do want to thank everybody tonight. George Noory, earlier tonight, thank you so much. He's going on the air here in 3.5 minutes with Coast to Coast for him to take time out of his schedule to come in tonight. And of course, Victoria and Paul over at Contact in the Desert, and Giorgio. Giorgio wanted to come on tonight so bad, and like he said, he was in Sardinia, he was in Greece, he was in Egypt, worked his way through to the United States, finally got here, and has been taping all week, but made sure that he came in tonight and hung out with all of you Fadernauts. Pretty cool to hear him say Fadernauts, right? Because Giorgio, he is a Fadernaut. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What a great show tonight. I had so much fun. Tomorrow night is Open Lines. We've got John Rappaport here and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll see everybody tomorrow night right here because it's Fader Night. Until then, everybody be safe. Go back, Lee Tappy.